Hey friends! So if someone would have told me 3 weeks ago that I would be here in my basement studio crafting, I would not have believed them. The last few weeks have been a whirlwind. I have worked my tail off getting everything moved and everything I needed to get done before a much needed vacation. Now I'm back fully recharged and ready to start crafting in my new space. And if you haven't seen my new space, you have to check out last week's video. I transformed my basement, dingy, catch-all back corner of my basement into the perfect craft studio for me. I'm so excited about it. It's smaller than I'm used to, but every space has a purpose, and I still have some organizing to do, but it is going to work out great. So I'm doing things a little differently this week. I am having a huge yard sale at the old storefront this weekend. Just to clear out some things I don't have room for anymore, some things I never got around to, and some things I just plain out don't want to move. But once I got everything moved and kind of got back from vacation, I decided to take a look through those items. So I went thrifting in my own yard sale stash. I picked out a few items that I felt still had a little life in them. Either they were items that I had thrifted and never got around to, or some of these are some I have previously done some things to in the past, but never found the right owner. So I'm going to see if I can give new life to these items in today's video. They're all easy makeovers, but I'm excited about how they all turned out. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Sit back, relax. Let's see if we can breathe some new life into these items.
So for our first project today, these did not come together. If you've been around for a while, you know I love to do thrift store marriages, and I'm always on the lookout for items that don't necessarily come together but go together beautifully. I had this wood and metal base in my stash. No idea what it was originally for. And I also had that, I guess it's like a hurricane globe. Flipping it upside down turns it into a perfect cloche, and they looked so beautiful and fit together absolutely perfectly. To dress them up just a little bit, I used DIY liquid patina in the gold, and I painted the base, and now I am taking some of the gold foil transfers from Iron Orchid Designs. This one's called Sea Belle, I think, and it has all kinds of really pretty flourishes, and I have used almost the entire book because they're just perfect to add on to, especially glass. This gold looks so pretty on it. Little tip when you're using the gold foil transfers, you do not have to rub at all hard. Basically, all you have to do is touch every single part of it. And also, I don't usually burnish with the paper. I usually just use my fingers. This little knob has been in my hardware stash for years, and it's perfect for the top of this vase that we're now turning into a cloche. It's 3M, so I know it's going to stick really well, and it goes so perfectly with this whole setup. And look how beautiful this came out. Can you imagine that these did not come together? Just for fun, I put this image into Google Image to see what it come up with. And the prices on these cloches like this were close to $100. And I probably didn't pay more than $6 for this amazing one. project number 2 is super simple. I always pick up these ceramic trinket trays, soap dishes, whatever. I paid $1.99, I think, for each of these. And now I am simply going to take some scraps from the Madeline transfer. It's such a soft, beautiful floral transfer, and I've used 2 packs of Madeline so far. You can layer your transfers, and it goes on perfectly on this white glossy ceramic. Now, you can also, I didn't like how I had cut the end of that tail of ribbon off to make it fit, so I just took just a little bit more, added on there. I also did not seal these. I don't know if you have ever tried to scrape an IOD transfer off of something, but it is very difficult to do. And with this glossy ceramic, if you put a sealer over it, you're gonna see the brush strokes. And since these are just gonna be little catch-all trays for like rings, keys, stuff like that, I felt like they would be fine. So this tray, I did it years ago, and I did decoupage paper, and then I layered botanist journal over it. I think it was sitting outside at the shop in a display, so the white got kind of dingy on it, and I felt like it needed a pop of color. So that's what I'm doing. This is DIY paint in the color Blood Moon. Purple's not usually something I gravitate towards, but it worked out great for this project, and it matched those purple flowers perfectly. Once I added 2 coats, I'm now taking a wet rag and just wet distressing back some of that white from underneath. Now I'm taking some clear wax and sealing the entire thing. I also painted the back, sealed it up, and then once you do that, you'll just need to wipe back any excess of the wax and let it dry. And I think this pop of color was absolutely perfect for this tray. It's going to lead right into those fall colors that are just around the corner. So I had this gorgeous monarch butterfly plate in my stash. It had its own plate holder frame, so it was very easy to just remove the plate. And now I want to try to match some of those colors in this gorgeous plate. I'm going to take, this is Walk on Water, I believe, DIY paint. I had a tiny bit of crinoline that I had actually added water to. I'm going to mix that in there, and then also a bit of yellow. It's almost coming out. If I'd added more yellow and maybe a darker green, I think it would have been a jadeite type color. But instead it came out this beautiful turquoise, which is a favorite. I got it all painted in 2 coats, and I realized I think I made Old 57. So you could probably just skip all that mixing and paint this Old 57 if it matches your colors. It didn't end up matching my colors too much, but they very much complement each other. Now, again, I am distressing. I'm going to use some clear wax to seal it up. And y'all, Fusion, if you didn't know, sells scented waxes. There's the Fields of Lavender and the Hills of Tuscany. They are the most smooth, best smelling waxes you can imagine. They are available on susieonthefarm.com, as well as all the paint and products that I use to upcycle these items. Once I sealed it, wiped back the excess, all that's left to do is add the plate back in, and then since I didn't paint the back, I'm also going to take a wet rag and just clean up any paint that might have got on the back to make it look fresh and clean. Of course, I'm not going to let the rest of that paint that I mixed up go to waste. I had this random candlestick in my stash. I think I only paid $1 for it. It's supposed to look like mercury glass, but it's actually just a spray paint that has scratches all in it. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this with the DIY paint. DIY paint is highly pigmented. It's thick. It sticks to about anything, and I didn't have any trouble painting this candlestick. Now I'm sealing it up with Big Top, and notice I'm not dipping my brush into the jar of Big Top. That's because DIY paint's water soluble and I could contaminate my Big Top, so I always like to pour it out. And normally I would do that with my wax too, but because I did the Big Top, I let it dry. This is sealed in. The reason I did that is I don't want a lot of distressing on this. This is DIY white wax, and whenever you have a project that has all these little cracks and indentions, it's a perfect way to add dimension to it. It stays in all of those lower places when you wipe back and just really gives such a beautiful effect. I had a tiny bit of distressing, which I'm okay with. And now this candlestick is eye-catching and beautiful for any vignette. It's rare that I'm going to let a video go by that I don't paint something with milk paint because I am so obsessed. I'm using Fusion milk paint in the color Vintage Laurel, which I'm currently out of. I had a tiny bit in that bag. Was afraid it wouldn't be enough, so I also added in some Poolside because I've done this color before and it is so gorgeous. Milk paint goes on so easy. It covers really well, especially when you're doing a darker color over a lighter color. Oh, about these corbels, I don't know if y'all can tell. I've had them in my stash for a long time. They were the perfect amount of texture. They were so beautiful, but I think they just needed a little pick-me-up, and milk paint is the perfect thing. So I put on one coat. I'm drying with my heat gun. I'm going to do a second coat, also dry it with the heat gun. And can y'all see all that texture and crackle? You may not can see it very much in this video, but it is amazing. Now I'm taking a sanding block and I'm just knocking off any excess, really getting that milk paint smooth. And then I will take a wet rag, wipe off any of that sanding dust, let it dry. I'm going to just seal this with some more of that clear wax. Normally, I would do like a finishing oil and a color, but because this color is absolute perfection, I don't want to change it. So I'm going to seal it up with clear wax, wipe off all the excess. These can be used for curtain hanging or just a shelf bracket or just architectural salvage in your vignettes, which is how I love to use them. They're absolutely perfect, and I'm going to give you a close-up the best I can before the reveal photos. Look at that. Look at that texture and crackle. So absolutely beautiful. I love the white coming from underneath. So, you guys, I am, like I said, so happy to be back in my studio creating. I dipped my toes in a little bit with this video, and I am ready to get going because next week we have exciting news. The new holiday IOD release is next Thursday. I'm going to try to go live, and I've already started working on projects to give y'all so much inspiration. And also, If you have been on my website lately, you'll notice the home decor section is completely empty. That is because I took everything to my booths. So much of it is already sold, and I want to start fresh on my website. So these will be on here, as well as a few other things that I did off camera. If you're interested, I will leave a link below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video, and I will see you again next week for more makeovers.